I got dropped into a book. Specifically, a cliché-ridden urban fantasy novel called The Dragon's Shadow. And right now, I'm sitting at the dining table of the female lead, Chloe Reed. Across from me, Julian Vance, the useless son-in-law who'd been living off his wife's family and taking their crap for 3 long years, slowly puts down his fork. His eyes narrow. The corner of his mouth begins an involuntary twitch upwards and to the right. He's about to drop the line, the one that kicks everything off. 3 years. The wait is over. All hail the dragon. I shoot up from my chair, beating him to the punch, screaming at the top of my lungs with every ounce of strength I have. The air freezes. Julian's epic smirk dies halfway up his face. His eyes, which have been preparing to gaze down upon us mere mortals, are now just wide, blank voids of confusion and shock. He looks like a video game mage who spent 5 minutes charging a super spell, only to get silenced by a slap to the face right before he could cast it. The atmosphere at the dinner table is, to put it mildly, bizarre. Chloe's father, Robert Reed, has his wine glass hovering in midair, completely forgetting to take a sip. Her mother, Linda, who just moments ago was viciously laying into Julian, now has her mouth hanging open wide enough to fit a baseball. And the novel's heroine, my supposed blind date, Chloe Reed herself, for the first time, that icy, beautiful face is showing an emotion I can only describe as total bewilderment. Her perfect eyebrows furrow, her gaze fixed on me, full of questions and disbelief. And me? Ethan Hayes, a throwaway rich kid side character destined to die in Chapter 3, am currently basking in the undivided attention of the entire room. Awesome. This is so freaking awesome. Just a few minutes ago, I was at home, doom-scrolling through this exact novel on my phone, making fun of Julian's stupid smirk. The next thing I know, I'm here at this dinner with a new voice ringing in my head. Ding. Host strong desire detected. Anti-cliché system activated. Current world, The Dragon's Shadow. Host identity, Ethan Hayes, cannon fodder. Main quest, prevent the dragon, Julian Vance, from showboating. Correct the story's warped logic. Gain the approval of the female lead and other key characters. Newbie mission. Interrupt Julian Vance's first return of the Dragon Declaration. Mission reward. Newbie starter pack. Plot deviation plus 10%. Looking at the utterly dumbfounded Julian, I could barely contain my glee. This is my calling. This is what I was born to do. I've been a professional online troll for over 20 years. It's guys like you, with your tired, predictable plots, that I live to destroy. Ethan, what in the world are you talking about? Linda Reed is the first to snap out of it. Her brows are knitted together, her tone more confused than angry. I maintain my over-the-top, triumphant pose and look dead serious at Julian. What am I talking about? Isn't it obvious? It's been 3 years. 3 long years. I launch into my own performance, my voice dripping with dramatic passion, my face a mask of profound sorrow. Julian Vance, married into the Reed family 3 years ago. He has endured endless scorn, suffered constant humiliation. Everyone thinks he's a loser, a worthless bum who lives off his wife. But who among you knows his secret? Who knows that he is, in fact? I pause for effect, letting the suspense hang in the air, hooking everyone's attention. Julian's face is a spectacular light show, shifting from pale white to sickly green, then to a furious purple. His fists are clenched so tight his knuckles are white, veins bulging on the back of his hands. He's clearly on the verge of exploding. He can't figure it out. How could his greatest secret be blurted out by this guy he's never even met before? He's what? Chloe can't help but ask, her cool voice tinged with a sliver of curiosity. I take a deep breath, point a dramatic finger at Julian, and declare in a voice that sounds like I'm revealing the meaning of life itself. He's actually a master freeloader, the best in the business. Uffed. Robert Reed sprays a mouthful of expensive Cabernet, thankfully turning his head just in time to save the immaculate tablecloth. Linda's face turns beet red. She wants to laugh, but knows it's not the right time, her expression contorting as she struggles for control. Chloe just whips her head away, but I can see her shoulders shaking. The Ice Queen has cracked. Ding. Congratulations, host, on completing the newbie mission. Newbie starter pack granted. Master-level combat skills, photographic memory, danger sense, passive. Reward granted. Plot deviation plus 10%. Resentment points from Julian Vance plus 1,000. Affection from Linda Reed plus 5. Affection from Robert Reed plus 5. Affection from Chloe Reed plus 3. The flood of notifications in my head is so satisfying, I almost cheer out loud. Julian finally loses it. He slams his hand on the table and jumps to his feet. How dare you? Before he can continue his tirade, Robert Reed slams his own hand on the table, glaring at him. Who gave you the nerve to slam your fist on the table in my house? A worthless parasite, and now you think you can throw a tantrum? Linda immediately finds her target and goes in for the kill. What a disaster. We've fed you for 3 years, and you've contributed nothing, but your temper sure has grown. You've been eating our food for 3 years, and now you dare to pound on our table? The nerve of some people. Getting tag-teamed by the couple, Julian's carefully cultivated aura of menace evaporates in a thin air. He can only stand there, grinding his teeth, staring daggers at me. The murderous intent in his eyes is so thick you could cut it with a knife. Ethan Hayes, is it? Very good. You've successfully caught my attention. In 3 days, I'll have you on your knees, begging for mercy. Ah, there it is. The dragon's classic threat package. I casually clean out my ear, looking at him with an innocent expression. Why 3 days? Can't you do it today? Or does your aura of awesomeness have a 3-day cool-down period? Julian looks like he's about to have an aneurysm. He's realizing that his legendary patience and cunning are completely useless against a guy who refuses to play by the rules. Every word I say is like a precision-guided missile striking his most vulnerable points. You just wait. He spits out one last threat. He knows that staying any longer will only lead to more humiliation, so he turns to leave. Stop, I call out suddenly. Julian freezes, a smug smirk instinctively starting to form again. He thinks I'm scared. What? Scared now? It's too late. I just smile, pull a $100 bill from my wallet, and place it on the table. Mrs. Reed, this is for the little ramekin he shattered when he slammed the table. I know he's your son-in-law, but when you break something, you should pay for it. He probably doesn't have any cash on him, so I'll cover it for now. My words plunge the room into another dead silence. Julian's whole body is trembling. It's not from anger this time. It's from pure, unadulterated shame. He feels like he's been stripped naked, thrown on the floor, and stomped on for good measure. Linda stares at the $100 bill, then at Julian's face, which is now darker than the bottom of a burnt pot. For a moment, she's speechless. Finally, Robert steps in to smooth things over. Ethan, my boy, you're being too kind. It's just a dish, it's nothing. Please, take your money back. Though he says that, his eyes are full of genuine appreciation. This kid, he's interesting. Very interesting. I can't do that, sir. A deal's a deal. I insist, pushing the bill towards them. Chloe looks at me, and for the first time, I see a genuine smile in her beautiful eyes. She's thinking that this blind date her mother set her up with is nothing like the greasy, arrogant rich kids she was expecting. He's a bit of a goofball, but in a charming way. He's got a sharp tongue, but every word he says is refreshingly honest. Julian, aren't you going to thank Ethan? Chloe's cool voice chimes in, laced with an almost imperceptible hint of amusement. That one sentence is the final straw. Julian can't take it anymore. He doesn't look back, doesn't utter another threat. He just flees the dining room at a speed just shy of a full-on sprint. Watching his pathetic retreat, I have only one thought. Sweet. So what if you're the dragon? I'm the one holding the script now. Let's see you pull off that smirk now, buddy. Spellcasting interrupted. The rest of the dinner proceeds in a weirdly cheerful atmosphere. Robert and Linda's attitudes towards me have done a complete 180. Before, they were polite but distant. Now, they're warm and genuinely impressed. Linda keeps piling food on my plate, asking if I'm warm enough, if I'm comfortable, like I'm her long-lost son. Robert insists on drinking with me, clearly intending to get me thoroughly drunk. Only Chloe remains cool and composed, but she keeps glancing at me, and I can see the iceberg in her eyes starting to melt around the edges. After dinner, Robert invites me to his study for tea. Linda pulls Chloe aside, whispering something that makes Chloe's cheeks flush a faint pink. The study is classic old money, all dark wood and leather-bound books. Robert personally brews a pot of what smells like incredibly expensive oolong tea. Ethan, about today. Thank you, he says with a sigh. For the past few years, because of that, Julian, our family has become the laughingstock of Crestview Hills. I take a sip of the tea. You're too kind, sir. I just can't stand guys like him. A grown man, living off a woman, and acting like the whole world owes him something. Exactly. Robert slaps his thigh. You took the words right out of my mouth. The kid is nothing but an ungrateful leech. And just like that, complaining about Julian becomes our bonding activity. After a while, Robert changes the subject. Ethan, about you and Chloe. What are your thoughts? He finally gets to the point. According to the original novel, my character gets killed by Julian precisely because he won't stop chasing after Chloe. But I'm not that pathetic simp anymore. Sir, when it comes to feelings, I think it's Chloe's opinion that matters most. I set down my cup, my expression serious. I think she's an amazing person, but if she's not interested in me, I won't force it. Robert's eyes light up with even more approval. Confident, not arrogant. Reasonable, respectful of women. This kid is a million times better than that useless freeloader. Well said. Excellent. That's all I needed to hear. You young people should spend more time together, get to know each other. He's basically giving me the green light. When I leave the study, Chloe is waiting in the hall. The moonlight streaming through the window makes her look ethereal. I'll walk you out, she says softly. We walk side by side down the long corridor, neither of us speaking. The atmosphere is a little charged. Today, thank you, she says suddenly as we near the front door. Thank me for what? For helping you roast your useless fiancé. I tease with a grin. Chloe's face flushes again. He's not my fiancé. That was just a decision my grandfather made on his own, she clarifies immediately. Oh, I draw out the sound. So you're saying I have a shot? Her face turns a deeper shade of crimson, so red, I think she might actually be blushing. She looks down at the floor, refusing to meet my eyes. Seeing her look so shy and adorable, I can't resist teasing her a little more. Don't get the wrong idea. I meant a shot at buying you dinner sometime. She snaps her head up, a flash of annoyance in her eyes that's quickly replaced by a hint of a smile. We'll see how you do. With that, she spins around and practically runs back up the stairs, leaving me with a view that sends my pulse racing. Affection from Chloe Reed +10. The system's notification is music to my ears. I leave the Reed mansion in a fantastic mood, hop on my sports car, and whistle all the way home. The next day, I'm at the gym getting a feel for the master-level combat skills the system gave me when my phone rings. It's Chloe. Her voice is laced with panic. Ethan, are you free right now? My grandfather. He just collapsed. My heart skips a beat. Here we go. One of the Dragon's classic plot points, the miracle doctor scene. In the original story, the Reed family patriarch is struck by a mysterious illness. The best doctors are baffled. Just as the family is losing all hope, the useless son-in-law, Julian Vance, steps forward. With a set of long-lost acupuncture techniques, he miraculously cures the old man, stunning everyone. From that point on, his status in the family begins to change. Don't worry, I'm on my way. I hang up and race over to the Reed's estate. Let's see how you're going to play the hero, Julian, when I'm here to spoil the show. By the time I arrive, the mansion is in chaos. The living room is packed. A group of doctors in white coats are huddled around the sofa, all of them looking grim. Robert and Linda are pacing frantically, their faces etched with worry. Chloe is standing off to the side, her eyes red from crying. And our hero, the dragon himself, Julian Vance, is leaning against a far wall, arms crossed, with a faint, cold smirk playing on his lips. He's waiting for everyone else to fail, waiting for the Reeds to come begging. He's savoring this feeling of being the only one in the know, the master of the situation. Dr. Matthews, how is he? What's wrong with my father? Robert grabs an older doctor by the arm, his voice desperate. The man he called Dr. Matthews sighs and shakes his head. Mr. Reed, I'm sorry. We've done all we can. The senator's vital signs are all stable, but he remains unconscious. We've run every test, used every machine at our disposal, but we can't find the cause. But what are we going to do? Linda wails, on the verge of tears. A sense of hopelessness begins to spread through the room. Julian, knows his moment has arrived. He clears his throat, preparing to take a step forward and utter the fateful words, "I can cure him." "Wait!" I shout, once again successfully interrupting his big moment. Every head in the room swivels towards me. Julian's foot, which had just begun to move, freezes awkwardly in midair. He glares at me with pure hatred. Resentment points from Julian Vance, plus 2,000. I completely ignore his murderous stare and stride over to the sofa. "Let me take a look." Dr. Matthews frowns. "Young man, this is no time for games. A whole team of specialists can't figure this out." "Dr. Matthews, just hear me out." I cut him off, my eyes scanning the old man on the sofa. I remember every detail of this scene from the book. The senator isn't sick. He's been poisoned. A rare, slow-acting neurotoxin made from a mixture of several plants. And the one who poisoned him was Julian. He created a problem that only he could solve, setting the stage for his grand performance as the miracle-working savior. The antidote is surprisingly simple, too. It's a common-looking weed that grows in the Reed's own backyard. Of course, I can't just say all that outright. It would be too unbelievable. I have to expose his scheme in a way that makes sense. "Gentlemen, have you checked the senator's recent diet and his living environment?" I ask. Dr. Matthews looks taken aback. "Of course we did. Nothing out of the ordinary." What if the problem isn't something he ate, but something he breathed in?" I drop the leading question. "Breathe in?" Dr. Matthews sinks into thought. I walk over to the window and point to a plain-looking plant with small purple flowers in the garden below. Like, for instance, that flower. Does the senator enjoy having his tea or playing chess right around there? Robert immediately nods. Yes. My father's out there with his chessboard every afternoon." I continue. "From what I know, that plant is called midnight phlox. It's harmless on its own, but its pollen, when combined with the powdered root of another plant called ghost root and inhaled as incense, creates a neurotoxin that induces a deep coma. And it's a toxin that's nearly impossible for modern medical equipment to detect." My words leave every doctor in the room completely stunned. They were all experts in Western medicine. This kind of obscure herbal knowledge was far outside their field. "Well, where's this ghost root?" Linda asks frantically. My gaze slowly drifts over to Julian, still lurking in the corner. "For that, I'm afraid you'll have to ask the Reed family's great hero, Mr. Vance." Every eye in the room snaps to Julian. His face instantly turns chalk white. He never imagined that his flawless, perfectly executed plan would be exposed by me in a single sentence. I even knew the names of the plants. Impossible. This is absolutely impossible. You're slandering me." Julian bellows, his voice a mix of fear and fury. "I don't know anything about any midnight phlox or ghost root." "Is that so?" I let out a cold laugh. "Then what's that little bag of powder in your pocket? And what exactly were you adding to the senator's incense burner late last night? Should I pull up the security footage so we can all watch it together?" With every sentence I speak, Julian's face gets a shade paler. The moment I mention security footage, his composure shatters completely. He thought he was being so clever, so discreet. He never dreamed that someone was watching his every move. "You monster. You absolute monster." Robert is shaking with rage, pointing a trembling finger at Julian. "My family took you in, and you dare to poison my father. You heartless, backstabbing snake." Linda flies at him, scratching and clawing. "What a tragedy. We let a wolf into our home. We must have been blind. You murdering freeloader. You try to kill the senator. I'm calling the police. I'll make sure you rot in jail." Julian doesn't even try to defend himself against Linda's assault, and soon his face is covered in bloody scratches. His miracle doctor performance is a total bust. Not only did he fail to look cool, he exposed himself as a vicious, calculating monster. But the antidote, Chloe asks, her main concern still her grandfather's well-being. I smile confidently. The antidote is simple. By the pond in the backyard, there's a plant that looks like a foxtail. Crush it into a paste and have a senator drink it with some warm water. A maid immediately sprints outside and returns with the weed. They follow my instructions and administer the concoction to the old man. Less than 5 minutes later, a miracle happens. The unconscious senator's finger twitches. Then, slowly, his eyes flutter open. What? What happened to me? The living room erupts in cheers. Robert and Linda are crying tears of joy, crowding around the old man. Chloe is looking at me, her beautiful eyes shining with an extraordinary light. And I'm standing back from the crowd, watching as Julian is pinned to the floor by a couple of security guards, a victorious smile on my face. Ding! Successfully thwarted the dragon's miracle doctor plot and exposed his conspiracy. Plot deviation plus 20%. Current total deviation, 30%. Reward granted. Wealth doubler card. Used. Absolute insight. Skill. Resentment points from Julian Vance plus 5,000. Affection from Robert Reed plus 30. Affection from Linda Reed plus 40. Affection from Chloe Reed plus 20. Listening to the flood of rewards in my head, I feel like I'm on top of the world. This is awesome. The senator's poisoning incident sends shockwaves through the Reed family. Julian's vicious act has thoroughly enraged every last one of them. Robert wants to call the cops right then and there and have him thrown in prison. But Julian suddenly calms down, a strange smirk forming on his lips. Call the police. Robert, are you sure you want to do that? Don't forget, the engagement between me and Chloe was personally arranged by the senator. It was a promise made to your old friend. If you send me to prison, you'll be embarrassing the senator and breaking a sacred vow. Robert is so angry he can barely speak. The old man did value that promise, which was the only reason he'd tolerated Julian for so long. Insolence. The senator, who had been silent until now, roars with surprising strength. He pushes himself up, his eyes like daggers as he stares down Julian. My family may value its promises, but we are not doormats to be walked all over. You poison me. That is an unforgivable crime. As of this moment, the engagement is void. From now on, you have nothing to do with the Reed family. Now get out. Julian's face falls. He never thought his last bit of leverage would be so decisively cut away by the old man himself. Fine, fine, fine. He spits out the words, his eyes filled with a venomous hatred. You just wait. The Reed family? I could crush you with a flick of my finger. The humiliation I've suffered today, I will repay 100-fold. And you, Ethan Hayes. He glares at me. You've ruined my plans, destroyed my marriage. Julian Vance will never forgive you. In 3 days, I'll have you erased from this city, your body gone without a trace. 3 days again. Does this guy have a subscription to a cliché Threat of the Month club? Sounds good. I'll be waiting. I give him a cheerful wave. The exit is to your right. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Oh, and remember to take all your old clothes, your toothbrush, and that chipped mug you use. Don't want you leaving your junk all over our house. Gack! Julian actually chokes, almost coughing up blood. He's so enraged he nearly passes out on the spot. In the end, he's unceremoniously escorted out by security and thrown out the front gate. The farce was finally over. Ding! Successfully stripped the dragon of his status as son-in-law and had him expelled from the Reed family. Plot deviation plus 15%. Current total deviation, 45%. Reward granted, indestructible kidneys. Affection from all members of the Reed family has greatly increased. I look at my status screen and nod, satisfied. With Julian out of the picture, the atmosphere in the Reed mansion is more relaxed than ever. To thank me, Robert and Linda insist I stay for dinner. At the table, they look at me like I'm already their son-in-law. Ethan, we really owe you this time. If it weren't for you, the senator. Linda says, her eyes getting misty again. Please, Mrs. Reed, don't say that. Chloe and I are friends. It was the least I could do. Friends. Linda's eyes light up. Just friends. She glances meaningfully at Chloe. Chloe's face instantly flushes, and she quickly puts a piece of steak on my plate. Mom, we're eating. Stop talking so much. Just eat your food. Watching them, I can't help but smile to myself. My future mother-in-law is really getting the hang of this. After dinner, Chloe offers to walk me out. We stroll side by side through the Reed's immaculate garden. Today, thank you. Really, she says again, her tone full of sincerity. I told you it's nothing. Then what do you want? She stops and turns to face me, her gaze serious. Well, I did save you, Grandpa. Doesn't that mean you have to devote your life to me or something? I say, only half joking. Her cheeks are glowing in the moonlight, But this time she doesn't run away in embarrassment. She just looks at me quietly for a long moment, then gives a tiny, almost imperceptible nod. Okay, that one word, as light as a feather, hits my heart like a tidal wave. I am stunned. This isn't how the script is supposed to go. Shouldn't she have blushed and called me shameless? And then we'd have a few more rounds of playful banter? She just agreed. Seeing my dumbfounded expression, Chloe lets out a little laugh. Under the cool moonlight, her smile is like a night-blooming cactus flower, breathtakingly beautiful. A few days ago, you asked if you had a shot, didn't you? She winks at me, a mischievous glint in her eyes. But whether you can actually make it, that's up to you. Looking at her, I suddenly understand. She isn't some coy, timid girl. She's independent, intelligent, and knows her own mind. Once she's made a decision, she doesn't hesitate. I like that about her. Okay, I nod back at her, my expression just as serious. The shot? I'm not going to miss. We smile at each other, a perfect understanding passing between us. Ding. Breakthrough achieved in relationship with female lead Chloe Reed. Plot deviation plus 10%. Current total deviation, 55%. Reward granted, charisma plus 20. Over the next few days, my relationship with Chloe accelerates at warp speed. We have dinner together, see movies, all the normal things couples do on dates. With me, she's no longer the Ice Queen CEO, but a woman who laughs and teases and can even be a little goofy. And Robert and Linda are 100% sold on me, practically begging us to get engaged tomorrow. Everything is almost too perfect, but I know Julian won't just give up. His threat to erase me from the city in 3 days wasn't just idle talk. Julian spent 3 years lying low in Crestview Hills, but in that time, he was secretly building a powerful network. In the original novel, after leaving the Reed family, he immediately summons his old followers. With a single phone call, he shakes the city's entire criminal underworld. Then, he brutally gets his revenge on everyone who ever looked down on him, including my cannon fodder character. Today, I'm having dinner with Chloe at an upscale steakhouse. The mood is perfect. We're chatting, sharing bites of our filet mignon. Suddenly, the restaurant's front door is kicked open. A group of menacing-looking thugs storms in. The leader is a bald guy with a thick gold chain and a Tweety bird tattoo on his bicep. Dragon runs this place tonight, he bellows. Everybody who ain't supposed to be here, get the hell out. The other diners, terrified, start to get up and leave, too scared to protest. The manager rushes over, a nervous smile plastered on his face. Mister, Dragon, sir, please. We're open for business. Smack. The bald goon, Dragon, backhands the manager across the face. What, you deaf? Didn't you hear what I said? You got a death wish or something? The manager clutches his cheek, not daring to say another word. Chloe frowns, clearly annoyed, but I just smile. Speak of the devil. Isn't this the Dragon's classic opening move? Having his minions clear the room before his grand entrance. Sure enough, from behind the thugs, a familiar figure slowly walks in. It's Julian Vance. He's wearing a sharp black suit, his hair slicked back, and that trademark smirk is plastered on his face. Only this time, his smile is full of vengeful satisfaction and arrogant contempt. Ethan Hayes. We meet again. He walks straight to our table and looks down at me. I told you, in 3 days, you'd be gone. Today is that day. His gaze shifts to Chloe, a greedy, resentful look in his eyes. Chloe, I'm giving you one last chance. Come stand by my side now, and I can forgive everything. Otherwise, after I'm done with him, you'll still be my woman, whether you like it or not. Chloe's face instantly turns to ice. Julian, you're disgusting. Good. Very good. Julian laughs, his rage barely contained. You want to do this the hard way? Fine. Don't blame me for what happens next. He waves his hand, giving the order to his bald lackey. Dragon, take him out. Yes, mister. Vance. Dragon cracks his knuckles with a vicious grin and starts walking towards me. The few brave diners who hadn't left yet are all watching in terror. Chloe grabs my hand, her grip tight with fear. But I'm perfectly calm. I even have time to spear a piece of asparagus with my fork and pop in my mouth. This is actually really good. You want a bite? I ask Chloe. Chloe, Julian, Dragon. Everyone is completely thrown off by my unbelievably calm, or maybe just insane attitude. You little punk, You're asking for it. Dragon, feeling disrespected, roars and throws a punch the size of canned ham right at my face. I don't even stand up. Just as his fist is about to connect, the steak knife in my hand moves. Swish, a flash of silver. Dragon's fist stops dead in midair. He stares dumbly at his wrist. The tip of my steak knife is pressed firmly against the artery. It's already broken the skin, a single drop of blood welling up. If I push just 1 inch further, his hand will be useless. Sweat pops out on Dragon's forehead. He didn't even see me move. It was too fast. Unbelievably fast. This kid, he's a pro. Julian's smirk is frozen on his face. The image he had in his head of me getting knocked out and groveling on the floor has failed to materialize. Master-level combat. It's a beautiful thing. Is this all you've got? And you have the nerve to clear out a restaurant. I pull back my knife, wipe the tiny drop of blood off with a napkin, and speak in a calm, conversational tone. Your name is Dragon, right? I'll give you one chance. Take your guys and get out of here right now, and I'll pretend this never happened. Dragon's face turns pale. He's been a tough guy for years, and this is the first time he's been so thoroughly humiliated. But he doesn't dare move. His instincts are screaming at him that the young man in front of him is incredibly dangerous. While he's hesitating, Julian speaks up. Dragon, what are you afraid of? So what if he can fight? He's just one guy. There are dozens of us. We could beat him to a pulp with 1 punch each. Get him. If anything happens, I'll take care of it. Julian seems to think that his control over the city's underworld makes him invincible. But he's forgotten one crucial detail. This is the 21st century. Fighting is the dumbest way to solve a problem. Is that right? I smile and pull out my phone. Well, if you guys are going to be reasonable, I guess I'll have to call someone who is. I don't call some secret, even more powerful billionaire backer like they do in the novels. I calmly dial 3 simple numbers. 9-1-1. Then I put on speaker. Hello, 911? What's your emergency? I'd like to report a crime. I'm at the Oak Room Steakhouse on Belmont Avenue. There's a gang here, starting a fight and threatening people. Yes, there are a lot of them, maybe 20 or 30. They have weapons. The leader's name is Dragon. He has a tattoo on his bicep. They don't seem like very nice people. The operator on the other end says that a patrol car is on its way. After I hang up, the entire restaurant is dead silent. Everyone, including Julian and Dragon, is staring at me like I'm an alien. They had considered every possibility. They thought I might beg for mercy. They thought I might call for my own backup. They even thought I might fight back desperately before being beaten half to death. But they never ever in their wildest dreams thought that I would. Call the cops. What kind of move is that? What happened to unspoken street rules? What happened to a good old-fashioned brawl? Your multimillionaire son fighting with a bunch of gangsters, and you call the cops. Have you no shame? Julian feels like his entire worldview has been shattered. He's like a grand wizard preparing for an epic magical duel, only for his opponent to pull out an AK-47. How are you supposed to fight that? You call the cops. Dragon points at me, his whole body trembling with rage. What else was I going to do? I shrug. We live in a society with laws. Everyone has to do their part. As a law-abiding citizen, when I see criminal activity, it's my duty to report it to the proper authorities. Police. Before Dragon can say another word, the sound of screeching tires echoes from outside. A squad of police officers storms into the restaurant, weapons drawn. Nobody move. Hands on your head, get on the ground. Dragon and his crew instantly deflate. No matter how tough they act, they're not stupid enough to fight the police. One by one, they obediently get on the ground with their hands on their heads. Julian's face is as black as coal. His so-called criminal empire is as fragile as wet paper in the face of actual law enforcement. His mighty dragon's wrath has been extinguished by a single phone call before it even had a chance to ignite. A police captain walks up to me and salutes. Mr. Hayes, are you all right? I stand up and shake his hand. I'm fine, Captain Miller. Thanks for coming so quickly. Captain Miller glances at the thugs on the floor, then at the furious-looking Julian and frowns. Mr. Hayes, what's going on here? I point at Julian. That's Julian Vance. We have a bit of a personal dispute, so he called these guys here too, and I quote, take me out. Luckily, I called you guys in time. Otherwise, I'd probably be leaving in an ambulance right now. The captain's face immediately darkens. A personal dispute? Gong retaliation. This is a serious offense. He walks over to Julian and looks at him coldly. Julian Vance, is it? You're coming with us. I didn't. It wasn't me. He's lying. Julian panics. He never thought I'd be so devious. The restaurant has security cameras. The manager and the other guests can all serve as witnesses. I say calmly. Try to deny, it isn't going to be easy. Julian's last glimmer of hope is extinguished. He gives me a look of pure, venomous hatred, as if he wants to tear me apart with his bare hands. Ethan Hayes, you're ruthless. I'll remember this. And with that, he and Dragon's crew are escorted away by the police. Ding successfully thwarted the Dragon's underworld power play and had him arrested. Plot deviation plus 20%. Current total deviation 75%. Reward granted. Immunity to all poisons. Resentment points from Julian Vance plus 10,000. Critical level reached. I watched Julian being loaded into the back of a police car, a brilliant smile on my face. Take care, buddy. Try to be a model prisoner. The real world is a tough place. You just can't handle it. For orchestrating a gang-related assault, Julian Vance was held in custody for 15 days. Those 15 days were the best 15 days of my relationship with Chloe. We were together almost constantly. We explored every corner of the city. Her parents were practically my parents now, pushing us to get engaged every single day. Everything was peaceful, almost too peaceful, like the calm before a hurricane. I knew Julian wouldn't let it go. A dragon isn't defeated by a short stint in county jail. Tonight, Chloe and I are on our way home after a movie. As we walk into the parking garage, my passive danger sense starts screaming. An overwhelming sense of peril washes over me from all directions. I stop immediately, pulling Chloe behind me. What's wrong? She asks, confused. It's an ambush. The words are barely out of my mouth when every light in the garage cuts out, plunging us into absolute darkness. A split second later, dozens of blindingly bright headlights flash on at once. Dozens of black sedans have surrounded us, blocking every possible exit. The car doors swing open, and 100 men in black suits pour out, armed with machetes and steel pipes. They move with a chilling silence, radiating an aura of cold-blooded menace. These guys are on a whole different level from Dragon's Crew street thugs. These are real, hardened killers. The crowd of men parts, and a single figure slowly emerges from the darkness. Julian. He looks like a different person. His eyes are no longer filled with petty resentment. They're empty, cold, and detached, as if nothing in the world can affect him anymore. Ethan. His voice is a low, gravelly rasp. I'll admit, I underestimated you. You're clever, and you're cunning. You ruined my plans time and time again. But that ends now. Julian holds out his hands. In the face of absolute power, all your little tricks are meaningless. Tonight, I'm not giving you any more chances. I'm not just going to kill you. I'm going to make you die like a dog, right here, in front of the woman you love. He's finally dropped the act. No more pretending. This is his true self, his most monstrous and most authentic face. The dragon's wrath, ready to burn the world to ashes. Chloe is pale with fear, but she still clutches my hand, refusing to back down. Julian, you're insane. This is a crime. A crime? Julian laughs, a sound full of contempt. Chloe, you're so naive. In this world, the rules are always made by the strong. And I am the one who makes the rules. He takes a step forward, and an invisible pressure, an overwhelming aura of dominance, washes over me. This is the dragon's aura described in the novel. A force so powerful it can make ordinary people break down and fall to their knees. But as it hits me, it feels like nothing. A gentle breeze. I even let out a yawn. You done? If you're done with the monologue, can we get this over with? I got an early morning. My nonchalance makes Julian's brow furrow for the first time. He realizes his all-powerful dragon's aura has absolutely no effect on me. Still posturing. He scoffs, done with words. He raises his hand. Kill him. The 100 men in black let out a deafening roar and surge towards us like a tidal wave, weapons raised. Chloe lets out a small gasp and instinctively closes her eyes. I give her hand a gentle squeeze. Don't worry. Close your eyes and count to 10. And then I move. In that moment, my master-level combat skills are unleashed. I don't retreat. I charge forward, straight into the sea of enemies. I move like a phantom, weaving through the crowd. Every strike is simple, direct, and brutally effective. A punch, a palm strike, an elbow, a knee. No flashy moves, just pure, terrifying force. Everywhere I go, bodies fly. These vicious, hardened killers are as fragile as porcelain dolls in my hands. They can't even touch the hem of my jacket before they're taken down, one by one. The air is filled with screams and the sickening crunch of breaking bones. But no one dies. I control my strength. I injure, but I don't kill. This is a civilized society, after all. Julian stands on the sidelines, his expression shifting from confidence to shock to disbelief and finally to raw terror. He can't believe what he's seeing. These are the most elite warriors from the dragon's own personal guard. Any one of them could take on 10 men. 100 of them attacking at once should have been enough to kill even the most seasoned special forces operative. But now, they're being cut down by Ethan Hayes like he's mowing a lawn. What kind of monster is this guy? 8, 9, 10. When Chloe reaches 10 and opens her eyes, the world is silent. The garage is littered with bodies, all of them groaning in agony. And I'm standing in the middle of it all, without a single speck of dust on my clothes, my hair still perfectly in place. I turn and give her a brilliant smile. All done. Chloe just stares at me, at the scene of utter devastation, her mind completely blank. She feels like she's in a dream. The guy who was sometimes a dork, sometimes a smartass, who took her to the movies and told her bad jokes, was also this. No. Impossible. Julian finally snaps out of his shock, unable to accept what's happened, letting out a hysterical scream. Who are you? How can you be stronger than me? He's lost his mind, completely broken. He coughs up a spray of blood, and this time, the light in his eyes is completely gone. He's lost, utterly and completely defeated. I look at his broken, empty shell of a man and shake my head. Then, I pull out my phone again and expertly dial 9-1-1. Hi, is this the police? It's me again. Same parking garage as last time. Another gang fight. Yeah, this one's even bigger. Like 100 guys. The leader is still that Julian Vance guy. He just doesn't seem to learn his lesson. You guys should probably get over here. My girlfriend is really scared. The sirens wail again. Julian Vance and his elite dragon guard are all rounded up. This time, he's facing a long time in prison. The dragon of this world has officially fallen. Ding. Final mission complete. Successfully crushed the dragon's final counterattack and shattered his worldview. Plot deviation. 100%. The novel's world has been successfully corrected. Congratulations, host. You have earned the final reward. Permanent binding to this world. The system will now convert into your personal life assistant. We wish you and your loved one a happy life. The system's voice rings in my head one last time, and then fades to silence. I watch as Julian is led away in handcuffs, feeling nothing. It's over. The era of the dragon has been single-handedly brought to an end by me. And the era of Ethan and Chloe is just beginning. I turn and walk towards Chloe. She's still standing there, staring at me. Her expression a complex mix of emotions. Shock, curiosity, admiration, and more than anything else, love. I walk up to her and open my arms. She throws herself into my embrace, holding on to me tightly. Ethan, you're not going to leave me, are you? Silly girl. I lean down and kiss her. Her lips are soft and sweet, with a hint of a cool, fresh scent. What starts as a hesitant kiss soon becomes passionate and deep. We kiss for a long time. There, in the middle of a wrecked parking garage, under the flashing red and blue lights of police cars. It feels like the rest of the world has faded away, and it's just the two of us. When we finally break apart, she's breathless, leaning against my chest, her cheeks flushed, looking more beautiful than I've ever seen her. Chloe Reed, I love you. 3 simple words, but they make her eyes well up with tears. She reaches up and gently caresses my cheek. I love you too, Ethan.